Hi there, I'm Winifred, intuitive healer, tarot reader, and magical maven of AwenTree, the magical hub for the seeker. And in today's video, we are going to be looking at how to cleanse and clear using smudge. So one of the questions I get a lot when I'm at the shop is how to use smudge to cleanse and clear a home, your personal space, or even physical items. Okay, so to get started, you may or may not be familiar with the word smudge or what it means to smudge, or if you heard the phrase smudging. So let's cover that first. So to use smudge, or to smudge is how you will hear it referenced, is to use smoke to cleanse and clear a space. Usually this smoke is based in herbs, and most often you will see that it's sage. There are different variations on sage, but often we'll see white sage used in smudging. Other herbs are great for smudging, such as cedar or mugwort. So there's more than one kind of herb that can be used, but typically smudging, it's about smoke, using smoke to cleanse and clear, but usually the smoke is generated by herbs or an herb blend of some sort. Sometimes you'll see smudging referenced when folks are using incense, because you may also use a resin incense such as frankincense or copal or dragon's blood also to smudge or a space or items. So all those materials are going to function well, but today we're going to be focusing on sage and a mugwort blend that I have in the demonstration that I'm going to be giving. So before I get into the demonstration of a technique for using smudge, let's talk about how and when to do it. This is one of the big questions I get asked, is when to smudge, how to know when to smudge. So here are some of my tips for when it's time to use smudging to cleanse and clear a space. So it may be that it's a new space to you, whether it's a home, an apartment, an office space, if you are able to burn smudge there. It could be a healing room, or perhaps you've just have access to a new room in the house that you live in. So anytime you have a new space, that's the perfect time to smudge, to cleanse and clear out any of the prior energy that was there and create a new clean energy for your intentions to come into this space. Another time to use sage or smudging is when you feel that the space that you are occupying, whether it's again home or work or a healing space or meditation room, when it starts to feel like a little bogged down, that it feels stale in the energetic world, or maybe it even smells a little stale. So when the energy feels bogged down, heavy, or stale, that's a great time to smudge. Another time would be if you are encountering a lot of negative energy. It could be that maybe you're going through a difficult time or transition, or the people that you live with might be going through a difficult time, and there could be extra stress and negativity going on, or you yourself just might be feeling like you're kind of in a funk or a little more negative than usual. That's a great time to use smudging as well to clear out those vibes. So with how often, I tell people more is better, actually. So sometimes one of the issues with clearing a space is we just don't do it often enough and long enough. So I really encourage people, depending on how bogged down or negative or stuck the energy feels, or if a space is totally new to you, you want to do the smudging more often and for longer. That's really important. And then the other thing is the mechanics of how to. So we want to smudge from, I like to think of a space as top to bottom. So if it's a house, start at the top floors and go down. So go top to bottom and back to front. So whether it's a room or an apartment or the house, you want to start at whatever you energetically feels like the back to you. That would be the back end of wherever you enter from. So the entrance you use the most is the front, and the back would be, the part of the place you want to clear that you get to last. So back to front. So we want to smudge from top to bottom and back to front. That helps move out that negative or stuck or old energy that's just not serving us anymore. Or maybe you've come into a new space and it wasn't your energy to begin with. Another important thing is to have a window open, even if it's winter. You just need to have it open while you're doing the smudging. And even better if you can have a door open, but definitely a window or a door, to have one of those open while you are doing the smudging. Another important tip when you're smudging a space is to remember that negative energy, or what we call negative energy, or old stuck energy, or energy that no longer serves you, it's sort of similar to water. It eddies in still places of your house or corners. It gathers under furniture and in dark places, corners, cupboards, things like that, places where the energy maybe isn't as in motion with people walking through. So when we are smudging, we want to make sure we get into all the corners of the room and get under like the tables and under chairs. So you want to be thorough. You want to make sure that you're really getting everywhere. If you can reach up high, reach down low, just make sure that you're really smoking everywhere. And just bear in mind that could set off the smoke detector. So you want to be mindful about what you're doing while you do this. And that also brings up the next point, which you must take great care and caution when smudging. So smudging is you're working with fire and to make the smoke, and there can be a lot of embers. So you must take care that you have a fireproof container to put under your smudge. So I use my grandmother's abalone shell that was gifted to me. So this is a great container to either burn the smudge inside or to hold underneath when you are smudging. So you want to make sure you have a fireproof container of some sort, ceramic, an abalone shell, a sacred bowl, something to make sure that embers are not falling down onto your carpet or your floor or anywhere in the space that you're smudging. So remember, safe practice, never leave burning smudge unattended, and be really wise and careful when you're actually going through the space and smudging. So when you are finished smudging, for safety tips, I like to take my whole bowl, the whole setup, and I bring it to my stainless steel sink, and I put it, the whole situation, the whole smudging situation, into the sink. And I also very carefully sprinkle a little bit of water on the end to make sure that the sage is definitely out. So you don't have to soak it down heavy duty unless it really got burning a lot. And but you want to make sure that you sprinkle some water and then leave it in the sink so it can dry out. It's very important to be really smart about this because sage or a smudge bundle can be burning inside where you really can't see. So I can't impress upon you enough to be really safe with your saging practices, your smudging practices. So I like to put mine into the kitchen sink, which is stainless in our house, once I am done, and I definitely put a little water on it, and I really go back and check to make sure it's not smoldering and that I wouldn't run the risk of leaving it unattended and smoldering and letting it cause a fire. So I cannot impress upon you enough to be very safe when you're smudging your space and use safe practices. Some people, if they have a cast iron bathtub, that's where they like to put the sage when they're done using it, or some people put it in a cast iron pot on top of their stove, provided that you've got a stove situation that doesn't have wooden cupboards above it. So just be smart, and those are just some good safety tips I wanted to share with you today on smudging. Okay, so now let's get to our demonstration on how to actually get our sage burning. So, like I said, you're going to want to make sure you have a fireproof bowl. I have an abalone shell. And I have here some sage. This is a mugwort blend. And you're going to want to, get it going. So you can see already, right? It gets going really quickly, and we want to be careful. It can take a little bit to get it to start. So you can see here, right? It's going quite smoky, right? So you want to be, that's why you want to be careful. So you can hold it over your bowl, and you just want to, start moving it wherever you need to move it to start cleansing and clearing. You can also do yourself by putting it, in front of you. Just, again, be really careful because there's embers, and herbs tend to spark and make a lot of burning embers come off. So you want to be very careful when you're doing this. But there is how you would get your sage started and going in the bowl. And once you have it going nice and making a nice strong smoke for you, then you can start to walk around your space and get clearing. And then the next thing to remember when we are working with smudging is, so the smudging clears the space, creating sort of a void. an energetic void. So after you finish smudging, you have another step to do. So this is when we finish smudging, what you want to do next is set the intention energetically of how you want the space to feel vibrationally. So how do we set the energetic vibration of our space after we smudge? You could do a few things. You could follow with incense that has a uplifting note, such as lavender. You could use an aromatherapy spray that also has an uplifting note. So that could be, again, like a lavender aromatherapy spray or a floral blend. I encourage you to pick one that's made from medical grade essential oils. But you want to use a scent that has an uplifting or floral, a very positive, what we would call an up note, like an up vibration. And so you could spray an aromatherapy spray or burn lavender incense to help set the energetic vibration of the space. You could also use energy work if you're an energy worker. You could sing if you have songs or chants that you like to work with. You could also use sound like singing bowls to help set the space. But just make sure that you take some time to set the energetic intention of the space after you sage with a positive vibration so that you can claim that space how you want it to be energetically feeling. Okay, so just to recap, what we've been talking about today is how to cleanse and clear your space using Smudge. So lots of great tips here to help you get started. And if you need more resources, you can always come check us out at AwenTree.com. And I'll put that in the notes. And you can also look to follow us on Facebook. We have an AwenTree page and an AwenTree group where we share all kinds of great tips like this to help inspire your life. All right, so thanks for being here, and I look forward to connecting more in the future.